What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, and today I'm very excited to check out The Others from Cool Mini or Not. This is for 2 to 5 players. It'll take about 90 minutes to play, and it's for ages 14 plus. And in The Others, you are going to be taking control of some heroes in a really crappy city that's set on fire, full of bad guys and acolytes and nuns and hobos and just all sorts of bad thing, and you're going to be trying to fight against the evil that is in the city. Or you'll be the one character playing as the evil, trying to kill off all of those heroes with your acolytes and with your abominations. And it's got dice rolling, it's got upgrading your characters, it's got a lot of cool stuff on it. Now, before we get started, I do want to mention the middle part. I apologize, it is very jumbled. There is a lot going on in this game. It's a 43-page rule booklet, so if you want to skip that and just get to my thoughts, I'd recommend doing that and going to the end of the video. But let's open it up and let's explore the game. Alright then, so we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of The Others. So first and foremost, we got a handy-dandy rule booklet, and it is a beast. It is 43 pages. Double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples, and I want to say that it's pretty well done. You are going to be using it quite frequently. You're going to be jumping around in it a lot. I feel like it could be better streamlined, but as I'm about to show you, there's a lot of moving pieces in this game. So I'm actually going to be moving the camera because, as you can see, there is just a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to be showing you. But don't let that scare you off because it's actually quite a simple game once you know what's going on. So in The Others, you are going to be playing through one of the different scenarios. And there'll be different scenarios you can play as: Haven and Hells, the Rise of the Hell Club, the Beast, the Darkness Within, so on and so forth. And you're going to set up the map based on which one you're going to be doing. Now, what are the difference between these? Well, there's 3 different kinds of them, and they're going to have you doing different things. Some will be more combat-oriented, some will be more corruption-oriented. So each game is going to be a little bit different because you're going to be setting the board up one of 2 different ways. You have 7 different stories. You're going to have different heroes interacting, doing different things. You have the Sin card. You have the Sin character, who you can play as Pride or Sloth if you have the base game. So a lot of variability going on in this game. But let's just take a look at this one. You can see how it goes. And over here's some really important stuff. This is what you're going to be doing at the start of each round, at the end of each round, special rules for the game. And this is going to be the chart that you have to succeed and win. So in this game, one character is going to be playing the bad guys, either Pride or Sloth, and they're going to take control of all the bad guys. They're also going to get some acolytes, so you might have hobos or nuns, and yeah, as you can see, pretty gruesome. They're going to give you a slightly special ability, and you're going to be controlling all of the bad guy characters, all of the monsters out on the board who are going to be trying to kill all of the good guys. Oh, those just went flying. Now, everyone else is going to be playing as good guys. You know they're good guys because they're going to have little rings around the bottom that will correlate with their color on their board. And each of the characters is going to have special abilities. So Rocco, he's one of my favorites. He is all about sniping people. He's going to have long-ranged fights because, as you can see, the board is set up so that you might potentially have long-range encounters. We'll tell you about how movement works in a little bit, but needless to say, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Now, back to this sheet right here. So in order for the heroes to win the game, they have to complete this, then they get to choose which one of these they want to do, and then they complete this. If they complete this, they win the game. Simple as that. Now, the Sin player, on the other hand, is trying to kill all of the heroes, because how this works is the heroes only have 5 health. 5 of these little heart doodads right here. If they completely run out of health, then they die, and the player controlling that hero is going to get a new hero. And if there is ever no more heroes to add to the game, because they're all dead, then the Sin player has won the game. Now, each player has its own unique quicks and twerks. This is the vampire, or not the vampire, the werewolf, who I really like. So you can turn into the werewolf, and then you're just super strong, but you're terrible at skill rolls, but you're super strong, which is cool. You got Rose. She's got the mind control, so she's going to be making things move around the board. Brad, I really like him because he's just going to be able to pretty much kill something without having to fight it, which is really good. But he's going to have to start fires, and fires are bad, as we all know, because they can set you, well, on fire. Also, along the way, we're going to start moving the camera and getting into some more stuff. You're going to be able to upgrade. And actually, I have the first one, the recommended startup one that we actually just played a little bit last night. I tried this with my wife for the first time. And what was all this thought? This one is going to have upgrades, so that can be potentially one of the things you need to do. You're going to need to upgrade your characters, and you'll have different upgrades that you can add to your characters. So you'll be rolling more dice because there are a lot of times you're going to be rolling dice in this game, both when you're in combat and also when you're doing skill checks. At the start of your turn, you may destroy one acolyte in your space, so that's really good. So you'll actually want to start in spaces with acolytes because you'll be able to automatically kill them. Hazmat suit, it's going to help you with fire or corruption token rolls, and lots of different upgrades that you'll be able to add into the game. So, we also talked about the dice and the combat in this game. The combat is very straightforward, which I like. These are the good guy dice, and they're going to have defense, they're going to have fists, they're going to have anti-corruption, and they're also going to have exploding rolls. What an exploding roll means is that when you roll it, you get to roll another die, and I absolutely love that in games. Likewise, the Sin characters are going to have their own dice as well too. They don't have the they're going to have some blank sides going on over here. They're going to have exploding rolls with the fist. They're also going to have the corruption right there, and they're going to be rolling dice as well. So there's lots of dice rolling in this game. And of course, we're remiss if we're not talking about the miniatures. So you've already probably noticed the miniatures are absolutely gorgeous, and you're going to have miniatures for every character in the game. The acolytes, the abominations, all of the heroes will have their own matching miniature right there. And then you're going to have one big dude, the Avatar. Oh, look at that. That thing is huge. That you're going to be able to potentially summon out on... Well, you will summon him out onto the board as long as you don't kill all the heroes before that. And he will come out onto the board at different times throughout the game. So as you can see right here, once the heroes have completed the first mission and then either one of the second missions, you summon the Avatar and they try to complete the third mission. But it's going to be a lot more difficult because the Avatar is a big bad dude who's going to roll a lot of dice. Now, along the way, I feel like we should switch over here. Let's take a look at some more of the Sin stuff going on over here. So the Sin stuff, we got a lot of Sin stuff over here to keep track of, but it's actually surprisingly easy. You've got the Apocalypse track right here, and as the Apocalypse nears, more and more bad things are going to be happening. Along the way, you're also going to have cards that you're able to play, and I'll give you a general overview of how the turns work once we go over all the components, because like I said, there's tons and tons of components. There's lots of tokens, there's innocent civilians, there's fires, there's just lots of stuff going on in this game. You're also going to have cards, and depending on what type of game mode you are playing, you're going to be drawing different cards. So how do you decide that? Well, it's pretty simple. You look right here. So this is it's got this symbol, which means you'll be drawing these cards when you have to draw cards. And these cards will do some crazy stuff. They'll summon some big monsters onto the board. They're really bad. You don't want to have to flip over these cards if you are a hero. It's either going to spawn monsters or just make your life more difficult. So let's actually talk about what you're going to be doing on turns, because I'm talking a lot about the different aspects of this game, and there are lots of different aspects in this game, but I haven't even told you what you do on your turn. And that's part of the beauty of this game, is that it's a very simple game. So on your turn, what are you actually going to be doing? Well, you're going to get movement and you're going to get action. And each character is going to start with 2 turn tokens right here. And how this works is the heroes are going to take turns taking their turn. So you move 2 spaces and you do an action, or you do an action and you move 2 spaces. That's a very oversimplified glance, because along the way you can also take city actions, which will allow you to get upgrades and heal and lower the corruption track, and even do aerial strikes, all sorts of cool stuff like that. But in essence, how does movement work? Well, the corners of the board are going to be spaces, and then these white lines right here are going to be spaces. So this area right here is all one space. So that would be 1 movement to move right there, and 2 movements to move right there. Also, the inside of the board is a space as well. So let's just say I'm this good guy right here. I could go 1, 2, and then I would have the option to either try to put out this fire right here or fight this monster. But all the while, since I did go into a spot that has fire, I would have to roll for a skill check to make sure I don't catch myself on fire. I'm not even going to try and explain what all the tokens do, but there's going to be fires, and there's going to be nests, which is where monsters are going to spawn, because at the end of rounds, more monsters are going to spawn. So good guy is going to take a turn, and then the Sin player is going to decide if they want to try and take a turn as well. So they're going to have a limited number of turn tokens as well. It's a really interesting aspect. So essentially, hero player is going to take a turn. And during their turn, if they would like, the Sin player can play one of the 5 Sin cards that they start with out of their hand. And these will tell you what to do at the start of a fight. This one's at the start of a hero turn. It'll tell you when to play those cards. So you can play those cards without flipping over your token, without taking an action. Or you can also react to someone else's turn. And that's when you flip over your own turn markers. And yours won't be blue. Yours will be green if you're playing as the Sin player. And then you also get to move and you get to attack. So it's actually a very simple, streamlined game. I feel like I'm babbling at this point right now because there's just so much to talk about. But I assure you, it's very simple. But anywho, you're going to continue to play until either the heroes have all completed their missions or the Sin players have killed all the heroes to the point where when a hero tries to draw a new hero character, there are none left to draw. And that, in a so jumbled nutshell, is how you're going to play the others. Alrighty then, the others from Cool Mini or Not. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros. Let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, this game is a beast to learn when you are first learning the game. I don't mean when you're trying to be taught the game, but when you're actually reading the rule booklet. There is so much to learn and so much to understand, which should be evident if you watched any part of the middle video. There's tokens, there's counters, there's things you need to learn if you're the hero, there's things you need to learn if you're playing as the 7 Sins guy, there's cards, there's a lot of stuff that you're not even going to be playing with, so you're going to be putting it back to the box. There's just a lot of stuff going on in the game, and that could scare off some people. I mean, a 43-page rule booklet is going to scare off a good chunk of the gaming population, and I hope that does not happen, but I'll tell you more about that in the pros. Also on the con side, one player is always going to be having to play as the Sin player, and I feel like playing as the heroes is more fun than playing as the Sin player. Now, that being said, I'd say it's only slightly more fun. I still enjoyed playing as the Sin player, and it's difficult to play as. You have to just pick the right spots, and you got to pick when you're going to play your cards, and you have to know all the special abilities of the characters on the board. You need to be able to know what the heroes do, and which heroes are good at this, which heroes are good at that. But that being said, I still enjoy playing as the Sin player, but I think playing as the hero player is a little bit more fun. Another con that I have with the game is it plays up to 5, and I liked it best at 2 and 3. The reason I say that is when you're at 2 and 3, you get to control numerous heroes, which I think is more fun. But I will say at 4 and 5 players, there's a lot more cooperation. There's a lot more talking around the table like, I think we should do this, I think we should do that. Ooh, he's got this guy here, he's got this, he's got maybe 2 Sin cards. Oh, one of us needs to make sure we're covering up that so he doesn't spawn more, There's a lot of table talk, which I did enjoy, and it definitely feels like a very cooperative game if you are not on the Sin side of the table. That's another thing that some people are going to be turned off by, is that this is incredibly cooperative. If you just all kind of go off willy-nilly and do your own thing, you're probably going to lose the game. So you need to work together, so that's both a pro and a con. Another con that I have with this game is the price point. I mean, I would be remiss if I did not mention the price point. It's a very expensive game. There's good reason it's a very expensive game. The components are top-notch. The miniatures are absolutely gorgeous, and there are a ton of miniatures that you're not even going to use from game to game, but I did want to mention that. It is a very expensive game. Another comment I have with the game is that I wish there were more dice. I just feel like there's not enough dice, especially when you start having attacks with a lot of people. Like if you're setting up these big fancy attacks with lots of monsters and acolytes just going to one area, you'd be like, all right, I actually should be rolling, 3 or 4 more dice. So I'm going to do this. And then you might get an exploding die. So you're like, actually, I need to roll 5 more die. And it does get a little bit confusing, so I wish there were more dice in the box for both sides, but in particular for the monsters. I already mentioned the rule book a little bit. It is a little bit annoying because you're going to be constantly flipping back and forth through that for, I'd say, the first 2 or 3 games, but that's just because there's so much game in this box. Also on the con side, the theme is very dark. It's very gruesome, and it's going to be a turnoff to some people. I think it's going to immediately make it so it's not a family game for most people. And it's the kind of thing where I feel like the theme's not pasted on, but the theme is definitely, it's not heavily onto this. You don't feel like you're fighting back the sin of the city or the corruption and you're going to church and doing this or doing that. It could have easily been like a police officer theme where you're fighting back crime and you're putting out fires. But that's more of a nitpick than anything. Any other cons I have of the game? I want to make sure I get all the cons out on the table because I'm about to give a lot of love for this game. Any other cons I have with the game? No. Moving on to the pros, the Other's 7th Sin. I can put it like this. If you feel like you're going to play this game on a routine basis, maybe once or twice a month, this is definitely a game I can recommend if it looks like it's for you, because this game has an insane amount of variability. You're going to be going on different missions each time. You're going to have different combinations of heroes going in together. You're going to have 2 different board layouts you can choose for each one. You're going to have 2 completely different Sin characters, which will have different cards that do different things. They're going to be rolling with different acolytes. You're going to be drawing from different decks, and different cards and different big bad monsters will be coming out to fight you. Just each and every game is going to be a little bit different, and there's a lot of variability in this game, which is one of the huge selling points, I think, for this game. Also, we'll just briefly talk about it, the components are top-notch. There is not one thing, aside from not enough dice, that I dislike component-wise in this game. It is just outstanding. Maybe the fact that the bad guy cards or the micro cards, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. Tons of variability, so I love that about the game. Also, I love the simplicity and the streamline of this game. While it's not an easy game to explain to you, because I want to talk to you about all the different counters, and I want to talk how you can pick up a police officer, or how you can have a hacker with you, or how you can take the subway so you can get from point A to point B faster. I want to talk about all that, but there's just so many little things like that in this game that it's really difficult to talk about all of them, but they're all very simple to understand, which makes for a very simple, streamlined game, which is impressive with how much stuff is going on. So that is a big plus of this game. I like how each character feels different. Like, you're going to want to use your special ability each time, and you're going to want to plan so that everybody's going to be able to use their special abilities, and that's the cooperative nature of the game. And I really like how the cooperative nature of the game shines, because this is not an easy game, especially if the person controlling the Sin knows what they're doing, because they're going to be planning about what they're going to be doing based on when that acolyte turns out. They're going to, or once the big dude comes out, I'm forgetting the name of it. So they're going to be planning, and you have to be planning as well. And I really do enjoy that. So great components. The rule booklet, for how much stuff is in the game, I think it does a good job. I wish there was slightly less flavor text. I think they could probably chopped off about 5 pages of this rule booklet if they cut out the flavor text. But that's neither here nor there. The graphic design, the symbology, it all works pretty well. I like the fact, yeah, and that's another thing I mentioned. I like how the mission chart works. I wish there were actually more. I hope that in the future, with expansions, they come out with bigger missions, like that will have more of a spreadsheet flowing option, so you have different options that you can choose. I like that an awful lot. Now, one more con that I forgot to mention about this game, and I think is going to turn off some people, not me personally, is the fact that this is not a Legacy-esque style game. And you're going to be upgrading your characters, your heroes, slightly with upgrade cards, but you can't get too attached to them, because they're going to die. Your heroes are going to die. Deal with that. And I think that is going to be a turnoff to some people. But I like that, because I like trying out the different heroes and feeling how each one had its own unique quirks and kinks. So, in the end, the Others, if you have the money, and if you think that you are going to be able to get the game to the table on a semi-frequent basis, this is a great one. It has tons of variabilities. It has outstanding components. It's easy to teach once you know how to play, and I also think the cooperative nature of the game helps in that aspect too, because if you have, say, one new person, you just slap him on the cooperative team, and all those cooperative players want to see him succeed, so they're going to be helping him along. I like that an awful lot. So in the end, the Others, rock solid game. Don't think this is just, a whole bunch of hype because of the gorgeous miniatures, or because of the fact it's Cool Mini or not, or Eric Lang. There is a great game inside this box, one that I can recommend if you can get past the theme, if you can get past the price point, and if you can get past that 43-page rule booklet. So, Others, Cool Mini or not, I am definitely recommending this one. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below, or in the comments below. Let me know, which of the 7 deadly sins do you most empathize with? No, which one would best describe you? So let's think. There's pride, there's sloth, there's I think excess. For me, it's personally excess. I don't know if that's one of the 7, but there's something that is like that. I like to do everything big. I don't want to go get delicious Chinese food. I want to get delicious Chinese buffet and just shove my mouth full. I don't want to drink 2 beers. I want to drink 16 beers. And it's been a problem in my life that I love excess so much. I mean, I couldn't just be happy, playing board games and having 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 board games. I was like, no, I want to review board games. I want to make a board game and I want to do that. So my entire life, it's been marked with excess. But what is your 7 deadly sin that you are most guilty of? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.